Hello, and once again to episode 2. Welcome to the Chuck Stew Show. I am your host, Chuck Stew. This is my doctor, my confidant, cats know him by name, Dr. Pearls HB. Take it away.
How you doing tonight, Chuck? This is Pearls Houston Book, Dr. Pearls Houston Book, graduate of Cambridge University in merry old England. Today we have an interesting topic for us. Why don't you get it started, Chuck?
We're going to be talking about a very controversial subject. It has to do with the Supreme Court decisions that happened just recently. We're talking about last 2 weeks ago. Gay marriage. It is now
marriage.
In every state on a federal level, it is legal. We're not exactly sure if it's legal on a state level. I don't know if... okay, it is. I'm being told by the other producer it is. It is... On every level, it is now okay for anyone to marry for any reason under the state of the law.
Yeah, basically the federal government surpassed the state's law by making it a federal requirement. So all states have to follow this.
Terrifying. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the hot topic of the night. Because when it comes to gay marriage, there was some pictures on Tumblr, especially on Facebook, Twitter, that had to do with a bunch of different gay pride parades that were going on in major cities of the world. I have personally seen the picture. My doctor has seen the picture. It was a giant, what was it, a cardboard cutout, a person dressed like Jesus or something?
Well, from what I saw, basically, there are certain extremist pro-gay ralliers that are basically dressing as Jesus Christ. Some of them are cardboard cutouts. Some of them are actual people that strap themselves up to crosses. Either they're wearing rainbow cloth, or basically they have rainbow crown of thorns on their head, and basically these pro-gay supporters are taking pictures with Christ, kissing on him. Basically showing that Christ pro-gay. They're kind of pushing it in Christians' face. They won at this current time.
That they won by something that the Supreme Court said when I don't even personally believe in marriage by the state. You know what? It was only a hand-picked group, very small amount of homosexual individuals that was doing that with the Jesus statue or people, they're dressed up like Jesus. You know what? Fuck them for that. I think that whole thing was just a whole bunch of pile of dookie bullshit because they are purposely trying to just get one over on us because, the Supreme Court said on a 5-4 decision, that it's fine for anyone to just go ahead and marry. Well, shit, I've been looking impressively different lately, so, I'm going to go march up to my congressman and say, look, I want to marry my cat under the LGBT new law, and they're going to fucking do it, and that dude who wants to marry his horse, hey, if a man loves a man, can a man love a horse?
That's one of the things that some people are saying is that, where does this end? I've actually heard some reports, and you can give us your thoughts on this, Chuck, that next it's polygamy, that people are thinking that once the gay marriage is legal, that they're not going to stop there. They're going to move into polygamy and pretty much, anything. So what do you think about that?
Oh, was that not a can of worms to open? Because once on the precious show that I used to watch with my ex, The Sister Wives. It was so adorable with Mark and his nasty-ass haircut, marrying fucking 4 women at once. He had 18 kids. Hey, does that sound like heaven to you? Sure as hell doesn't for me. But for the people who are saying, now polygamy is going to be the next thing, I'm pretty sure polygamy was already legal back when the Mormon settlers came down in the fucking 1800s or some shit. Or it was in certain territories it was legal to do that. But really, we're saying, where were the people saying that polygamy was supposed to be the thing to do by the Supreme Court where they can do it legally back before, Supreme Court said the LGBT, they can go ahead and get married. Where were the polygamists before that? Why wasn't it legal when they asked?
Well, the thing is the right around 1800s, and I don't know the exact date, the federal government actually outlawed polygamy, made it a federal law. And that was part of the reasons for the Mormons abandoning that particular part of their beliefs. So that it is actually currently illegal to have more than one wife, across the nation. However, some people are saying that this gay marriage, the fact that the Supreme Court made this decision federally, it's now going to open a precedent for all kinds of romantic unions, things that people consider to be personal. Now the government will have their hand in it, so now they can make whatever laws they want. They can have men marry horses, men marry cats, women marry fucking washing machines. It's like there's no end. Where's the end of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a can of worms. I don't really think anyone understands what exactly the Supreme Court did. I can even tell you what it is they agree and disagree on for the last of their 10 to 20 hearings. I don't really care. I follow NPR. I'll follow Kai Ryssdal on Marketplace. I don't like to watch the Diane Bohr show in the morning because it sounds like she's going to die on air. But let me tell you something. My doctor, he personally subscribes me medication, and a lot of it, because I need, ever since I heard that the LGBT community, they're now getting married legally in every single state, even in Alabama and in Arizona, on Planet X. Who would ever see the day where that was going to happen? I have to take Dr. Pearl's morphine before I have to go to sleep because I'm so pissed. Now, why are they rallying against us? Okay, so you're a conservative libertarian. You don't give a shit about the government and what they're doing because Congress has 14%. No, I checked, it's 12% approval rating right now. Everybody hates Obama. They're blaming him left and right. They're blaming him for all the fucking drone strikes. They're saying, oh, that Obama, he had more drone strikes than fucking Bush's administration. They're blaming him for the fucking thing of the Planned Parenthood with all the, he's saying, God bless you about the abortions. I stubbed my toe, fuck that Obama. So what is your opinion on the radical homosexuals that are purposely trying to they're trying to shove their own hands into our asses, but they're smearing the shit all over our faces? What do you think about those radical extremists?
Well, I have to say, I consider myself a conservative libertarian, and that's just based off of my upbringing. I was brought up conservative. My parents are still conservative. I generally lean towards the right, just a little bit. However, I've gone on record by saying that the government in this country is not working. It doesn't work the way that our founding fathers intended it to. There's just too much divisiveness in this country, and it's just really turning us into just really uneducated people, honestly. I've seen many a post on Facebook about Obama where there's hundreds of thousands of comments on it saying that Obama should be killed. Obama should be burned at the stake for the things he's doing, or impeached. They're basically just going overboard, and the only reason they're doing this is because they were taught that this specific side is wrong and this one's right. And so I identify as kind of in the middle. I kind of just go with whatever I agree with personally. As for the gay marriage, I am a Christian man, and I'm a man of science and a man of faith, and I honestly I don't believe it's right, just because that's what it says in the Bible. It says that homosexual relationships are immoral. However, I know that I can't change anybody's mind on this. This is something that's been in the works for years. I myself have made the inference that if this ruling had not happened, it would have eventually reached gay marriage would have been legal across the state level within a matter of 2 years. It would have happened. That's just the way the world works. The millennial generation right now is more accepting of gay marriage and alternative lifestyles than ever before, and that's just how it will go. So I kind of take a step back on this issue. I have my own personal beliefs. I know how I'm going to raise my children, but there's only so much you can do, Chuck. That's all I say about it.
There's only so much you can do. Hail Dr. Book and his philosophies and his opinions and ideologies, right? Because none of you out there. Let me tell you something. I'll give you some stew from Mr. Chuck here. I agree wholeheartedly, and I am sick to death. And if you are a fan of the Chuck Stew Radio Hour coming out every Friday night, being recorded, and it's coming out every Saturday night, if you're listening, you better take something that says, put it on Facebook, I support the Chuck Stu Show. I want you to go to every single person's profile that has the rainbow picture on it. That a bunch of stupid bullshit where everyone's, we all have to be about, like, homosexuality, and we all have to be understanding of them, and, like, we have to be loving towards them. And I'm not saying that we can't be, but I'm not saying, like, at the same time that I have to fucking be gay, or that someone has to push their agenda or dogma onto me. So what I'm telling you, the nation, Chuck Stu, you are the meat and vegetables. You need to take a hashtag saying the Chuck Stu Show does not approve, and you send it to everyone who has a rainbow picture, including, as what Mr. Book was telling me earlier, that the iTunes logo changed to a rainbow. And that's another thing. I love rainbows. We were just talking about this earlier during lunch. We're at McMahon's, and I was saying, you know what? I don't think that it was okay for the LGBT community and the different communities that support them. We're able to take the rainbow, and I understand it's a symbol of taking all the colors. It's like, everybody, all the fucking people of all different types of sexual orientation. I get it. But it says in Genesis that when God struck the earth with water and flooded it, he put the rainbow there as a sign of the covenant that he was not going to ever do that again. It was a covenant for mankind. And I think this is bunch of bullshit. So go ahead, and I want everyone as part of the Chuck Stu Show to go ahead and send that to someone on your friends list, someone on your enemies list. Say, look, you got a rainbow on your picture. I think that's pretty fucking stupid. So here's the thing about the Chuck Stu Show. What do you think, Dr. Book?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that while it is in the Bible to be inclusive and to love your neighbor, love all, I think the gays have gone a little too far with this. They're kind of just shoving it in Christians' faces that they were able to win this here when Christians really haven't done anything. All we've been doing is preaching the Bible, that the Word of God. I'm sorry, like if the Word of God isn't exactly what you wanted it to be, but that's just how it is. You've got to get over it. You can't just, I saw a saying earlier today, customize Christ. You can't customize Christ to your liking. You can't decide, I don't want to go to this church because they judge me, and I don't technically believe in that, so I'm just going to wait till I find a church that doesn't judge me and exactly believes what I believe. That's not how it works. Christ put out a divine book of the things that he believes, the things that he's teaching, and that's what you have to follow. That's my bottom line.
It's true. It is true. Just before we to make a clarification on this of what I was saying earlier before we go to commercial break, because we only got a few seconds, is that they're saying, because even though they're pushing in our faces, they're kissing on Jesus at the gay pride parade. We don't know if he would have been there, like in order to spread the gospel. We don't know. He's at a lot of parties. First miracle, water into wine, sure. But the way of how they're, shooting it, and the way they're saying it, these are the fucking extremists. I mean, it's like we're dealing with a new ISIS here. It's just, but they're flaming. So it's that one guy, the Amazing Atheist. He's on YouTube. He said it's a good channel, it's pretty funny. Also, Undertaker fan, Undertaker Freak 1127, whatever the hell that guy's name is. They're both putting out videos ever since this decision by the Supreme Court, saying that there is no war on Christianity, that there is no war against the Christian man. I think I'm going to go ahead and call bullshit and say that all of that is true, and it's prevalent, and everything in every aspect of social media, because if you're on the Chuck Stu Show, you're on our radio show, linking on Facebook, sharing your opinion on Twitter, going on Tumblr and fucking bashing the feminists. It's everywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, that's very good, Stu. Chuck, we actually will need to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we are going to have a special guest for you. We're going to give him a call. This is Haystack Rich Calhoun. He is a male gynecologist, and he has a lot to say about this subject. So we will be back in about a couple minutes, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. This is a show!
Hello, this is Ramon from Rosario's LLC. We got everything that you need from your roofing company. We've got 3 Johns working on the roofs. John 1, the leader. John 2, the fat one. And John 3, the little one that also does the work. Once again, if you have any roofing projects you need to be done, always look to Rosario's LLC. Yee! See, Simon Rosario's! Pearl's Houston Book here, and let me tell you something. I do a lot of work around here as the co-host and primary producer of the Chuck Stew Show, and nothing gets me pumped and ready for our show like Strongbow Hard Cider. This stuff is amazingly delicious and packs a punch as well. I know when I crack open a bottle of Strongbow, I'm in for a great night. Visit your local grocery chain tonight and pick up some Strongbow Hard Cider. Then come right back and listen to the Chuck Stew Show every Friday night. Always drink responsibly.
This is the Chuck Stew Show!
Hello, this is Chuck Stew coming to you live with my doctor, Dr. Pearls HB, and who we have on the line right now, all the way from Cal State East Bay, is Dr.Juggs Male, gynecologist. How are you doing, doctor?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So we got a couple questions, because what's been going on in the media lately is what we were talking about before commercial break. The decision from the Supreme Court, it was a 5-4 decision, stating that all homosexuals can now legally marry on a federal and state level. And just wanted to know, what do you think about that?
Well, it's kind of a sticky issue, that's for sure, but I'm not paying for them weddings, that's all I know.
True that. True that. So we were just talking, Doctor, about I've seen some pictures online. We're Christian men. We've seen pictures online about pro-gays on their rallies. They're dressing Christ up in rainbows and kissing them, men kissing men. Do you have any particular religion-based argument against this law?
Yeah, I think it's just damn wrong, that's what I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Jesus sees it, he's going to start throwing up.
Yeah, that's it's just a thing that we think they're trying to spit in the face of everyone who's just a law-abiding citizen who claims to be, even if it's like Muslim or any whatever religion, it's kind of like by the statues and people dressing up like Jesus. They're purposely just trying to piss like people off because of the decision that they. I'm not saying that the extremists didn't have much to do with the decision and the voting for the Supreme Court, but at the same time, it just seems like they're being dicks about it. What do you think about the gay extremists?
I don't really care for them, actually, to be honest with you. I think they've taken it too far, and I think they're acting like the gay stereotypes that they are. Well,
yep.
Now, look at me. Well, I want them to look at me, damn it. Tired of looking at them.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, one thing we really want the listeners really want to hear. What is the one thing that just brings your blood to a boil when it comes to this subject? Like, what just makes you so angry? You just want to destroy, punch everybody.
That I can't marry two women, but they can marry two men.
Well, we were actually just talking before the commercial break that polygamy may be the next thing the Supreme Court may possibly vote on to say it is going to be legal or not.
I agree. I need 3 wives because I need to retire.
That's a good point. Good point.
I'm liberated, and I would more than be happy to have my wife and wife's work full time. I'll sit back and count the money.
That's right. Get them out of the kitchen.
Yeah, getting them out of the kitchen into the backyard. So it's
something like that. They're bread in the oven and the buns in the bed, something like that. But my wife doesn't agree with that, though.
She agrees?
No, she doesn't agree.
She doesn't agree.
She thinks that's a bunch of hogwash. She wants 3 husbands.
Well, as I know that you are calling from Cal State East Bay, male gynecologist, and you are a personal fan of the Chuck Stew Show. You've listened to last week's episode on legalization of marijuana. What'd you think about that?
Well, I'm dead set against it because I think marijuana rots your brain.
It's a THC.
You ought to use a little more heroin, and it makes people mellower. So unless I get to run my own marijuana dispensary and make $1 million a year, I'm dead set against it.
Well, yes, that was what was supposed to be a 2-part episode because in the 30 minutes we never discussed THC levels. That's what is
we'll cover that at the end of this episode.
So because that's a controversy behind using medical marijuana, whether it be a dip, or ingestions or smoking it, because that's the chemical that kills brain cells. So, yes, it is technically right. Over time, it does rot the brain. All right, well, Dr. Juggs, male gynecologist, calling from satellite on Cal State East Bay for the episode. Thank you so much for being on our show, and we hope that we can have you back next time.
Call me again. I'll be here.
All right. We'll see you next time, Dr. Juggs.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Mr. Toaster Show! Rena and Tax Associates. Need to rebel against the IRS? Need true professionals to handle your tax woes? Want to obey the law? The Walnut Creek office, now located at 201 North Civic Drive, was opened in 1991 to accommodate the many Rena clients who live and work in Contra Costa County. The professional staff includes an array of individuals with a wealth of experience in all areas of public accounting, including audits, consulting, and taxing. Rena, the IRS is the best. Now try the rest.
Don't let your dad come to class with only a tie and his dick hang out.
Paid for by Kids Against Fuckboy Dads, a sponsor of the Chuck Stew Show.
Hey kids, you like driving around in fucking trucks? Fucking trucks.
Motherfucking Chuck Stew!
Welcome everybody back from commercial break. I am your host. This is Chuck Stew. Welcome to Controversy with my partner, my personal doctor, psychiatrist, physician. This is Dr. Pearls HB.
How you doing, Chuck?
Pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. And Dr. Juggs, he brought up before we had to cut out with the interview, he brought up something about last week's episode talking about the legalization of marijuana. And today, I can verify that on Ira Flato, Science Friday, they were talking about the legalization of marijuana and how marijuana affects the system in the brain. They were saying on some news post that the THC doesn't matter when you're driving. There's actually not that much of a comparison to drunk driving and high driving. But we did not talk about THC. What is it? It is a chemical in the marijuana, in the plant, that gets you high. That's the chemical that makes you high. And what Dr. Juggs was saying, it rots your brain. What is your physician's MD opinion on the rotting of brains?
Well, the actual term rotting of brains is one that's it's not clinical, obviously. At this current point, there have been many different studies regarding the benefits or the negative aspects of smoking marijuana. Now, to be honest, there actually have been no proven health tests that have proven that there's been negative brain effects caused by THC. There has been one. There was one very prominent test that occurred that actually did in fact show differences. However, later this test was actually researched and determined that the results were skewed because the actual test subjects had actually done previous hard drugs such as meth and cocaine before the test was performed. And so those drugs might have been what contributed to the brain health. One thing that cannot be dismissed, though, is the lung effect on your lungs. Obviously, your lungs were meant to intake oxygen only, and that is it. You have these tender sacs of meat called alveoli in your lungs, and they are responsible. It's part of your immune system, folks. If you smoke, if you put any kind of negative substance other than oxygen in your lungs, it's going to affect those. And that's one thing that cannot be dismissed. That's why, as a physician, I do not advocate the use of marijuana. I do not prescribe it to my patients. I prefer my patients to take a form of pill marijuana or any other type of way instead of smoking it, because the effects of smoking are negative to the lungs. But as for brain rotting, that in fact is not a correct term.
Wow, you heard it here. But I know there is a fact. There's been plenty of studies that have shown that if you compare the smoker lung of someone who is addicted to nicotine, and then you take that and compare it to someone who's been smoking just as much at the same amount of time as someone who's smoking any type of marijuana that is not laced, there's a night and day difference. So it just means that the alveolas are just harder in the fact that they cannot take out that oxygen and put it in your bloodstream. It's going to take longer, and it's going to make you feel more terrible if you're addicted to smoking Swishers or smoking Marlboro Ultralights or Hundreds or, Indian Tobacco Bar and whatever it is. That the tobacco is much more addictive and much more harmful than it is with marijuana. But I'm going to have to agree with my doctor here, because he's my doctor, that
if you don't get paranoid and you are comfortable and you are a disability person of the states, then you should, by your American God-given duty, to ingest it through edibles. Because the edibles go where?
In your stomach.
And they don't go in your lungs. True! How much time we got left?
5 minutes.
Let's jump back on the gay bandwagon. Okay. So there's, let me just give you my final thought here. The gays are people just like us. A lot of gay people are pretty cool. Same with transsexual, transgender. There's very few amount of people that have both sexes, and science doesn't know what to do with them. But they're just people just like us, and we can't let a few bad bananas out there that are rotten go ahead and take the deity of something that a lot of people would get greatly offended by, Jesus Christ, for example, because that's what this whole thing was about. That's been going on in the news outlets and the main media places. And don't get me started on Fox News, because that's its own thing right there. But I don't give a shit what's on Bill O'Reilly's no spin zone bull cockadookie and that other fuck that looks like a corpse. I'm not talking about them. We're talking about here. There's some good American people that love each other and that I'm not saying I want to infringe upon what they personally do with their time, their money, their lives. I mean, but really, if you're going to try to come up, it's like a feminist trying to debate me on anything of any subject. It's just get the fuck out of here. But if you want to live your life like that, I'm not going to judge you. But if you're going to get my face about it and say, oh, well, since we won, fuck you. Well, how about fuck you? Fuck you. How about that? I'm going against you. This is fucking the gays against the fucking gays against the Democrats and the Libertarians. We're a triple match, war handicap match, and I'm sick to death of seeing this in the news. I don't care what news outlet you subscribe to. I only listen to NPR and the Chuck Stew Show. Sometimes I watch, or sometimes I listen to, or not listen to, but watch Democracy Now! Here and there, being that I am a Democratic Green Partier. But that when the gays go too far, nobody wins. Am I right?
You are right. You are definitely right, Chuck. And we only have about 30 seconds left. What is your final word regarding gay marriage in this country? What would you like your fans to take from this show?
I think we're all going to hell as a country, and the homosexuals who are doing these things, it's just gonna, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it's gonna make everything a lot worse.
We'd like to thank all of our loyal listeners here at the Chuck Stew Show. Once again, my name is Pearls Houston Book, and I'm the primary producer and co-host of the Chuck Stew Show. I'd like to sign off for Chuck. Chuck is going to spend the rest of the night probably getting plastered. Who knows? We'll see. At this current point, we'd like to remind you that the Chuck Stew Show comes on every Friday night. It's usually online by Saturday. Just keep an eye out for it. We've got a lot of people working behind the scenes overnight on a weekend night to get this show out to you, and we definitely appreciate all of your donations. Speaking of donations, we'd like to open up a donation line. If you actually love the Chuck Stew Show and you want us to keep us going, please send $1 to Happy Dude at 742 Evergreen Terrace, Springfield, please. That'll do so much for us, and it will definitely keep us on the air, keep us in your ears, and keep us just doing the right thing for the right people. Next week, what are we covering, Chuck?
What we're covering next week is we're covering the destruction known as pornography.
Next week is pornography, so it's definitely a divisive issue. We know you love porn out there, so you want to get the dark side of it. Listen to our show. We're gonna have an actual pornographic actress calling in. She goes by the name Pistol Hill. And she's going to give us some more insights on the dark side of that business. And once again, it's going to be next Friday, so keep an eye out for it. Keep an ear out for it.
Once again, my name is Pearls Houston Book, signing out for Chuck Stew. This is the Chuck Stew Show. Have a good night, everybody.
This is the Chuck Stew Show!
Another good episode.